So, good afternoon, and here we are on a sunny Thursday for another 10-minute takeaway with Jon Sharp, consultant solicitor for Silver Shemmings Ash, the latest in Jon's series on the update to insurance or insurers and the COVID pandemic.
Well, thank you very much, Julie.
No problem. Sorry, I should have said welcome.
No, thank you. We must stop meeting like this.
I know, it's becoming a habit.
It is.
Last time we spoke, you said that the FCA had made comment on the current COVID-19 situation and insurance. Have they commented further since then?
They have. The FCA have gone further and have said that what they're now going to do is bring, they're aware that the business interruption clause in the policies is causing a great deal of concern, anger, etc. Now, they've expressed a view that they don't think that some of these policies would respond to this situation, but it's only their view, it's not binding, but they are aware that the public and businesses are very concerned. So what they've said is they're going to bring a number of test cases as quickly as possible to court. So, because what they accept that there are some policies which are certainly open to interpretation, and people are concerned that that needs to be tested in a court of law, and so the FCA have said we're going to try and do this and bring it to the courts as quickly as possible so that we'll get some certainty. But as quickly as possible, well, it's not really a very long point. It either does or it doesn't, but I would have still thought we're probably 6 months away. The government as well, just so you're aware, Julie, has now said that it is not going to retrospectively backdate policies to make them cover business interruption. So it's more or less said, the government, oh, it's between you all and insurers, we're wiping our hands of it, despite on one view them making matters worse. So there we are, that's the latest on the FCA and the government.
So, helpful and not helpful. Can you summarise where we are in relation to the business interruption insurance?
I think I can, Julie. I think things are a lot clearer now than they were before. Let's first of all take you being forced to leave your office because the government said offices must close, etc. Of course, people did take the, were of the view, took the decision themselves to close offices before they were forced to. And of course, one of those reasons may be that someone on the office, in their office premises got COVID-19. However, I think what it is fair to say is that if you have got passive cover, i.e. cover that would cover the circumstances like someone's digging up the road outside, goes through a gas main, and you have to leave your office for 2 weeks. If you've got that type of cover, you prima facie still have a claim. What I'm getting slightly more concerned about now, for some businesses, and primarily office-based businesses where people come to work, sit at a desk and type, is what your loss is. Because most firms now have relatively smoothly, I mean, we did virtually overnight, have gone to working from home. And I'm struggling to think what loss you've suffered on that one. Now, clearly, restaurants, pubs, bars, etc., that's a completely different kettle of fish. But just for office, I'm trying to think, well, yeah, I mean, you can't claim for the economic downturn on you. So what loss and expense have you incurred by moving out? I'm slightly struggling with that one at the moment. But as I said, every situation will be different. Now then, in terms of business interruption, it's quite clear that policies are falling basically into 3 categories. The first category is where it is specific, where pandemics, notifiable diseases, etc., are specifically excluded. If you have a policy which has got that clause in, you have no cover. I think that is pretty clear. Certainly, if you took out a policy after the beginning of February this year, you would have had a COVID-19 exclusion clause in there. So you haven't got a chance in hell of getting insurers to pay. Forget it. Okay? However, there is then a second category of business interruption clauses which say that you have got cover if the disease was found to be in your building or on your premises. Now that's slightly more difficult, But people should not give up on this, because testing, certainly when they started, was so poor, you wouldn't have known. And you may have taken the very prudent decision to say, well, look, we don't like the look of him. We're going to shut the office out. And that's on your premises. If that person subsequently was diagnosed with COVID-19, or, to take an extreme example and a very sad example, was to die of it, then you had it on your premises. There has to be an argument that that policy should respond in those circumstances. But that is much more tricky. However, what is less tricky, I shall read you 3 paragraphs from an opinion put out by Geoffrey Gruder QC of Essex Court Chambers, to whom I'm very grateful. Now, he looked at this situation, and some policies have this. It says the clause is infectious disease, murder or suicide, fraud or drink or poisoning. Now, under that, there are various subsections which said cover is provided, and one of those is any occurrence of a notifiable disease within a radius of 25 miles of the premises. Now, that's interesting. As Mr. Gruder goes on to comment, and I hope I do counsel's wonderful language justice. Apologies if my eyes are slightly away from the screen for a short while. However, subparagraph C, the one I've just referred to, is in a different category. Coverage is not restricted to the consequences of an event actually occurring at the insured premises. Indeed, there need not be an occurrence at the premises at all. There is cover if loss is as a consequence of any occurrence of a notifiable disease within a radius of 25 miles of the insured premises. No doubt this cover was introduced to provide an indemnity where the presence of a notifiable disease, even some distance away from the insured premises, causes a proven drop-off or even a total cessation of trade. Accordingly, by 23rd of March 2020, when the government lockdown was ordered, there were many occurrences of a notifiable disease within a radius of 25 miles of, at the very least, many of the premises insured under this form of policy wording. After all, COVID-19 was a pandemic which was rampaging in most parts of the UK by that time. It is apparent that the figures for actual cases of COVID-19 from early March 2020, if not earlier, drastically understated the number of COVID-19 infections amongst the populace. Not only because many cases were asymptomatic, but also because of the absence of an efficient and effective testing program. Sorry about that one. Then he goes on. No doubt insurers will say that the cover was not intended to cover a pandemic. And Mr. Gruder is very firm here. What the insurances subjectively intended the wording to cover is neither here nor there.
Oh.
So, now it's a much lengthier article than that, but let's put it this way, insurers are certainly not out of the woods yet. And not only are the FSA going to press forward, other individuals are extremely angry about this and will be taking matters to court. I've been asked now twice to advise on business interruption clauses. There'll be a number of cases going to the Financial Ombudsman whose powers have been greatly increased and whose limits of awarding damages, etc., are now much higher. So, under no circumstances would I recommend to people that they should give up. And I would remind people that you do not want to get yourself into a situation where you haven't notified a potential claim. Nobody at the moment can probably put their hand on their heart and say that's what we've lost. Probably still too early. But tell insurers you're thinking about it. You don't want them arguing, oh, well, you didn't tell us. It's going to be difficult enough without having the argument in. So notify, and let's see where we go with this. It's by no means over and done with. Julie, I think the last
civil
question.
commands that you whiz.
Yeah, sorry, Julie, there's one more thing you wanted to ask me, I believe.
Yeah, there was. You always give us a little update on the travel industry, as we're all sitting here keenly awaiting the date we can go somewhere else. What's the latest? Something about airlines giving vouchers?
Yes, I don't want to look. This gets me, and indeed many consumer groups, and indeed the government's official consumer group, really get very angry about this. When you buy an airline ticket, you have to sign that you read the terms and conditions. That's in there because they want you to be bound by those terms and conditions. But in those terms and conditions, there will be a clause that says cancellation. In the event that it's cancelled, we give you your money back. It's EU law. I can't remember the regulation now, but there we go. It's there. If its circumstances be it right. So they have got to refund you your money. And that means refund you your money in cash. It does not mean, oh, have a voucher. Now, of course, vouchers may suit some people. If you have a second property in Spain, you might think, well, I'll take the voucher. I'm going later in the year. Hopefully, I'll just take the voucher and use it then. But it won't suit all people, especially at times when people are unemployed, have just been laid off, who may have had their wages cut. They want money. And frankly, getting £600 back on your airline ticket may well be very handy at the moment. You don't want a voucher. It's about as much use as an ice cream in a sauna. So you really should be pushing the airlines for refund in money. Some of them are saying it's going to take you 6 months to get your money back. Frankly, as soon as this gets before the courts are going to go mad. This was outrageous conduct on behalf of all airlines. There are some exceptions. British Airways apparently seem to be good. But EasyJet, oh, they've changed the goalpost 3 times now. Ryanair is saying it's going to take you 9 months. Really? Well, let's see what the courts think about all this. It will not be pleasant reading for them.
Okay, so lots of responsibility on our learned friends, and it sounds like one of them has at least opened the door on the business interruption.
Yes, it has. It's a very very good, well-written piece. It's about, I assume it's available on Essex Court Chambers website. It is well worth a read. It's well put together, but I didn't think Business Interrupt these claims would be easy for insurers to completely ignore. Clearly, if it's excluded, you haven't got a chance, and it will have been if you took out your policy after February, because they'll have put it in, and there's nothing you can do about that. But the 2 types that remain are this 25-kilometre radius and finding it on your premises. Now, both of those are going to be challenged in the courts, and we will see what happens. Anyway, Julie, that's all I was going to say. So I'll let you enjoy the sunny weather down in London, because, of course, it's cold, wet and miserable up here in Scotland.
Excellent. Well, thank you for all your advice today, including the futility of eating ice cream in a sauna, and something that I'm sure will stick with everyone this bank holiday weekend. And we look forward to your next update, Mr. Sharp. We'll see you soon.
Thank you very much, Julie. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.